set in stone. Muy bien. Esta noche vamos a practicar con un juego nuevo. Tic-tac-toe. Oh, el gato. El gato. I always grew up knowing this is el gato. Cat. She'll tell you a little bit about this in the video. So if you don't have this handy yet, grab a copy or mock up a little copy on a piece of paper. It doesn't really matter because it doesn't have to be anything formal, or pull it up on a tab on your computer. So I know I left a
I never saw it.
A link for it, but let me see if I can pull the link out from here. I probably can. ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está? Ay, Dios mío, ¿dónde está? Tic-tac-toe. Oh, está aquí.
Could you tell us what's across each one? Because
Sí, claro.
Yeah, I never know.
I will definitely do that. I thought I had put it in the email, but you know.
Oh, you did. You did.
I could be wrong.
No,
I have been known to slip up. I'm gonna, ay, Dios
this
mío. I've got to go all the way back.
Look in your email.
I've got to pull up, well, I should be able to pull up my, why is it not showing my thing so I can just pull up the link?
How come you didn't
Okay, vale. I think I've got it here actually.
Jan,
All
the
right.
link is on the Zoom meeting ID. It's at the top of where you press the Zoom.
It should be there. I'm going to try to put in something on the chat right now. The link. Here's the link on chat. Here comes the link. If you look in the chat room thing, that's the link to pull it up. And really all you need is to see. Okay, but I will tell you, if you want to do a sloppy 9-square draw, that's cool too. So, because mine is a little bit different than what you're going to see in the video, because there were a couple of items that I wanted you to practice instead of the ones that are shown in the video. So we've got cuántos, how many? Okay, something has to be countable. ¿Quién? Who? Muy bien. ¿Dónde?
Where?
Where? Sí. ¿Por qué? Why? Okay. ¿Cuál?
Wow.
Which? Oh, and we'll come back to that in a minute, because that's one of those, there are two tricky ones here. ¿Cuál? ¿Cómo? How? Okay, sí. ¿Cuándo?
Cuando?
When? ¿Qué?
What?
¿Y cuánto? Okay, hay 4 cosas que pueden ser un poquito complicados. There are 4 things here that can be a little bit complicated. ¿Cuánto y cuántos? ¿Cuántos? How many? ¿Cuánto? How much? So you're looking for a value, an amount, like in a price, okay? Pero cuántos, how many? An actual counting number for how many, okay? Los dos interrogativos más difíciles son cuál y qué. Cuál y qué. Cuál y qué, técnicamente cuál, which, y qué, what. But in fact, a lot of times really, these 2 things can be translated the same, but they don't mean the same. Okay, what I mean by that is que indicates that you want a definition of something, okay? Que is always asking for what is something, what is it? Define it, tell me what it is, okay? ¿Cuál? Técnicamente which. But sometimes in English, we do use what to translate the word cuál. So cuál asks you to pick something out of a group, remember? So whereas we say, what day is it? What we say, what's the date? Mejor, better to say. Mejor dicho, better to say. what's the date? En español no se dice qué es la fecha. It's always cuál es la fecha. And the reason that is cuál es la fecha, even though we say what is the date, they use cuál because they imagine you're really picking one date off that calendar. You're choosing one thing out of a group. Anytime you're picking something out of a group, cuál always goes together with es. Well, often, very often, not always, but often goes together with es. ¿Cuál es? ¿Cuál es tu canción favorita? We would say, what's your favorite song? But really, I'm asking you to pick which out of all the songs that are out there, which one is your favorite? So really, ¿cuál es tu canción favorita is much more appropriate. Okay? ¿Cuál es? But generally, we use it with es. Generally. So, ¿cuál es? You're picking something out of a group. Okay? Por ejemplo, ¿sí? ¿Cuál es tu cerveza favorita? What's your favorite beer? ¿Cuál es tu cerveza favorita? There's a great group of beers. There are all kinds of brands of beers, right? I want you to pick one out of all the brands that you could see in the grocery store. ¿Cuál es tu cerveza favorita? Okay, bien. ¿Qué es la cerveza? Means what's beer. I want you to tell me what is this thing called beer. Es distinto. That's different than ¿cuál es tu cerveza favorita? Okay. Vamos a jugar. You're going to see on the video a little explanation of how we play this. We'll stop to see if you've got any questions because you're going to go off into groups to do this. So it's kind of a little game. And a ver. Okay, un momentito. Vamos a ver. I need to pick out the video so you can see how we play it. A ver. Okay. ¿Por qué no funciona mi computadora?
If you wanted to know what type of beer, how would you ask that?
Oh, perdón. Hay pregunta. Is there a question? Tomás?
Yes, yes. So on the beer example, if you wanted to know what kind, like an IPA, a blonde, or what have you, how would you ask
¿Qué tipo? Oh, sí, buena pregunta. ¿Qué tipo de cerveza te gusta? What kind of? Well, there are two ways you could say.
Okay.
¿Qué tipo? ¿Qué tipo is what type?
What type?
In front of a noun, and type is a noun, it would be ¿qué tipo de cerveza? But you could just word that as ¿cuál es tu cerveza preferida? ¿Cuál es tu cerveza preferida? What's your favorite kind of beer?
Okay.
So really, there are two ways you could ask that. Okay. And we'll come back after the video to make sure you understand it and see if you've got any questions. Okay. Vamos
a adaptar un juego muy popular para practicar español. Hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es María y antes de empezar a jugar te voy a contar de qué se trata el juego, a ver si logras adivinar cuál es el nombre del juego en inglés. Entonces, este juego generalmente, o bueno, siempre se juega con dos personas y lo único que necesitas para jugar es un papel y un bolígrafo o un lápiz o cualquier superficie en donde puedas escribir. Luego, lo que tienes que hacer es dibujar unas líneas con cajas o con cuadros 3x3, es decir, van a haber 9 cajas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Y cada jugador escoge un símbolo. Uno puede escoger entre una cruz o un círculo. El ganador del juego es la primera persona que logre hacer una línea vertical, horizontal o diagonal con su símbolo. ¿Sabes de qué juego estoy hablando? El juego en inglés se llama tic-tac-toe, pero en español tiene diferentes nombres, como te imaginas, dependiendo del país. Entonces puedes escuchar nombres como tres en raya,
Oh, tres en raya. Okay, momentito. There are different names for this game in different countries. Okay, and there's only one that I have ever used personally. So you'll recognize it when she says it. Tres en línea, three in a line. Lógico, logical, right?
tres en línea, el juego del gato,
Juego del gato. Es como lo conozco. It's why I am familiar with it.
tatetí, ceros y cruces, en Colombia le decimos triqui. Y finalmente el último nombre que me encontré para ese juego en español es uno realmente muy raro que se llama, o le dicen en ese país, la vieja chillona. ¿Qué? Que literalmente significa The Whimpering Old Lady. Bueno, ya mucho bla bla bla. Este es el juego que vamos a jugar hoy. Como puedes ver en el gráfico está el tic-tac-toe o el triqui o el michi o como quieras llamarlo. Y antes de poner los símbolos tengo aquí diferentes palabras porque el juego que vamos a practicar hoy vamos a practicar preguntas en español. Cody va a escoger uno de los cuadros en donde hay una pregunta y debe hacer una pregunta de manera correcta con esa pregunta que está en el cuadro. Bueno, muy bien, empecemos. Cody, ¿qué quieres escoger? ¿El círculo o la cruz o la X?
Círculos.
Círculos, listo. Entonces empieza.
¿Dónde? ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Muy bien, Cody, excelente. Bien, ¿dónde está la biblioteca? Muy bien, ahora es mi turno. ¿Cómo? ¿Cómo se llama el primer presidente de los Estados Unidos?
¿Tú conoces?
No, yo no sé, pero tú debes saber.
Es George Washington.
Ah, muy bien, listo. Tu turno.
¿Quién? ¿Quién es Maya?
Maya es nuestra perra.
Sí.
Muy bien, es mi turno. Voy a escoger cuántos porque si no, tú vas a ganar y no quiero que ganes.
Boo.
Entonces, ¿cuántos? ¿Cuántas personas viven en Nashville?
1,000,000, más o menos.
Sí, como 1,000,000. Siguiente, tu turno, Cody.
Mi turno. ¿Cuál? ¿Cuál es tu comida favorita?
Muy bien. Mi comida favorita. Bueno, mi comida favorita. No tengo realmente una, pero me gusta. ¿Cuál
arroz.
es? ¿El arroz? No, pero no es mi comida favorita. Mi comida favorita. Yo no tengo comida favorita. Me gustan las frutas y las verduras. Ya. Listo. Muy bien.
Okay, notice she phrased that, or the question was phrased as, ¿cuál es tu comida favorita? Which is your favorite food? Of all the possible foods you might choose, we would say, what's your favorite? But it's, ¿cuál es tu comida favorita? Okay, so notice how that was phrased.
Bien, Cody, muy bien. Siguiente. Mi turno. Ah, no, pero ya me vas a ganar. No me gusta este juego. ¿Cada cuánto? ¿Cada cuánto te bañas?
This is one you don't have. Cada cuánto, how often?
Todos los días.
¿Seguro?
Sí.
Muy bien.
¿En serio? Mi turno.
Sí, es tu turno.
¿Por qué? Porque es difícil por personas aprender español.
Porque es difícil para las personas
No.
aprender español.
No.
Bueno, la respuesta es muy larga en otro video. Muy bien, Cody. Muy bien, Cody. Perfecto.
¿Te la win?
Sí. Bueno, muy bien. Cody ganó y no dijo nada. No dijo tic-tac-toe, ni tricky, ni nada. Cuando en Colombia nosotros ganamos un juego de tic-tac-toe o de tricky, nosotros decimos tricky. Pero Cody no dijo nada.
¡Tricky!
Muy bien. Bueno, este juego es muy fácil y sencillo. Tú lo puedes utilizar para practicar no solamente preguntas en español, sino
Okay. Y vamos a parar aquí o pausar aquí. We're going to pause here. And And the object of the game is to get 3 in a row, okay? Tres en línea. Sí, verticalmente, horizontal, diagonal, no importa. And you don't need to answer the question, you need to form a question, okay? Presente, pretérito, no importa. You can use any tense you want, present or past, okay? Or future, vas a. Cuando vas a ir de compras, por ejemplo, okay? So I'm going to put you off into groups, and again, the ones we want, in case you need to like scribble it on a piece of paper, that's fine too. ¿Cuántos? ¿Quién? ¿Dónde? ¿Por qué? ¿Cuál? ¿Cómo? ¿Cuándo? ¿Qué? ¿Cuánto? ¿Bien? ¿Tienen preguntas? Do you have any questions on how we play it? You're forming a question, you're not answering it. ¿Está bien? Bien? Okay. I'm going to put you off into groups. I hope nobody gets lost. We're going to hope this all works out well. I'm going to try to, and I'm going to give you about, a ver, 7 minutos, quizás 10, no sé. Más o menos, depende, ¿no? Es buena práctica para formar una pregunta. It's good practice, you know, to always go in learning how to form a question. Okay. 4. A ver, and if you get in trouble, there should be a little signal for you to signal, we got trouble, and I'll come in and visit your room. Okay, ¿está bien?
Sí.
¿Listos? Ready?
Sí.
¿Tienen preguntas o no?
No.
No, nada. Okay. Here we go. And you will have to press the join button, okay? Yay. ¿Y cómo fue? How was it?
Bien.
Did you get to the end of the game or?
Sí, we both.
Okay.
Okay, how do we say we both won? Ambos.
Ah,
Ganamos.
ganamos.
Yeah, one of us got there 1 second before the other.
Hacia aquí.
We
Okay,
weren't
bien.
strategic enough.
Hicieron bien. Entonces hicieron bien. Then you did well. Okay. A ver. Muy bien. We're going to wait for everybody else to join us back in. It should be closing down on them soon. I was hoping 10 minutes would be about right. ¿Cómo hicieron? Hicieron bien.
Sí.
Sí, hicieron bien. Muy bien. ¿Tienen preguntas? ¿Siempre preguntas del juego de la formación de una pregunta? O...
Cuando al fin de la partido,
Sí,
si no, see, what is it? What's no? What's nobody?
Nadie.
Nadie. Si nadie ganó,
Nadie ganó. Nobody won. A veces sí, sí ocurre.
so
You blocked each other successfully.
¿cómo
¿Sí?
se dice cuando
Nadie ganó. Nobody won.
we
Nadie
always said
ganó.
we always said it's a cat's game.
Eso es, sí, en inglés, sí, se dice. No sé cómo se dice en inglés, porque el juego siempre se dice que es el gato. I always learned it as el gato from the time I was 14 years old. That's what we called it. No sé cómo se expresa cuando nadie gana. Voy a preguntar. I'm going to go into Spanish Forum this week and ask them that question. I'm pretty sure somebody will get back to me. Usually they get back to me about 5-10 minutes. Es una pregunta muy interesante. ¿Cómo se expresa cuando nadie gana? How do you express it when nobody wins? Sí, porque es un juego de estrategia, ¿no? De un equipo trata de bloquear otro equipo y así es. Muy bien, hicieron bien. Okay. That was our little conversation practice for now, para ahora. Quiero, a ver, momentito. Quiero practicar ahora otra cosita. I want to move on to something else, unless you have a question.
Tomás.
Oh, Tomás, perdón.
So Suzanne and I were practicing, and we were correcting each other, whether it was the right correction or the wrong correction. But could you just remind us where the adjective fits in with this, whether it's before the noun or after the noun, or is it just dependent on the structure?
What comes before the noun? Okay,
the adjective.
Oh, the adjective.
Yes.
Usually after the noun.
Okay.
But adjectives of size sometimes come before, or, I mean, certain adjectives come before.
Okay.
Quantity comes before.
Okay.
Always. El ejemplo específico de
So an example was, in our questions, we asked, how much was your new car?
How much is your new car?
Right. And so, yeah, how much is your new
¿Cuánto
car?
cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta?
Keep going.
¿Se puede decir tu auto nuevo, tu carro nuevo o tu nuevo carro? Yo diría tu nuevo carro. I would probably say tu nuevo carro. New is one of those, doesn't paint a picture the way rojo paints a picture.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, some of those adjectives, nuevo could really go either way. Personalmente, yo diría, I would say tu nuevo auto. I would use it that way because conversationally, nuevo, new doesn't really paint a picture the way rojo or moderno or, something else does. But, depends.
Thank you.
It can really go either way with nuevo. Ok. A ver, muy bien. Vamos a tener una lección más específica con el tema de los participios pasados, this past participle thing, because it was confusing for folks last week. And we're going to hope to clear it up. And by the way, this is the way traditionally with English-speaking students, how past participles are first presented. And I'm pretty sure the reason is a lot of these past participles come up in words that you learn very quickly in Spanish. So words that you learn very quickly and use a lot are words like cansado, like ocupado, preocupado, enojado, right? Angry, tired, worried, busy. Those are words that people tend to learn right away when they learn estar, right? To say, I'm busy, I'm angry, I'm worried. And it's because they're adjectives. A lot of words, a lot of adjectives wind up being past participles. Boom. Not all. You know, rojo is not. But a lot of adjectives wind up being past participles because a lot of times these adjectives are borrowed from an original verb word. And these adjectives are borrowed from a verb, or they're formed from a verb, which sounds weird because verbs are actions and adjectives are not actions, and adjectives don't describe actions. Adjectives describe things, nouns, people, places, things. But sometimes we do steal a verb form and turn it into an adjective. And that's what these past participles are when they're used this way. The confusing thing is that past participles can be used in different functions. So we're not going to visit all those functions tonight. We might visit some of them next week if you want to. If you want to, and I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to, because it's not a big leap. We're going to look at the easiest thing, which is we're going to take a verb and form it into a past participle. We're going to turn it, and we're going to turn it into an adjective, a thing that describes a person or a place or a thing. Okay. Now, here comes a Fred question, a Federico question. And Federico, you're going to know why I'm going to say this. Technically, can any verb? You know I'm coming with this one. Technically, can any verb
How can I cheat?
be put into this form? Technically, sí. Yes. Any verb whatsoever. Now, here comes the big pero, but, pero. Pero. Technically, any verb can be used this way, pero, but not all verbs lend themselves to being used as an adjective. And remember, these words have more than one function, or can have more than one function. Okay, I'm going to tell you how. And when I give you these examples, you're going to see why. Okay. Recibir, recibido. La carta, la carta recibida por el Departamento de Transportes es algo oficial. La carta recibida, the letter received from ADOT. Bien? We can easily use recibido or recibida to talk about a letter that's received, an email that's received, a gift that's received, a message that's received. We can easily use this to talk about a thing, right? Not the message that was lost, the message that was
Sí.
Received. Ok. Bien. A ver. Ok. Y lo opuesto, the opposite. And I'm going to get rid of this because that's a little bit in. Perder. Perder como participio pasado, perdido. Perdido, ¿no? Perdido, lost. La carta perdida de ADOT. The letter lost from, o la forma perdida de ADOT. The form lost from ADOT, right? And we can easily use perdido to talk about a form, a letter, an email, money, lo que sea, right? Okay, muy bien. A ver, okay. Compartir, compartir, to share. El participio pasado, compartido, compartido. La comida compartida, the food shared. La comida compartida por los niños, the food shared by the kids. Este carro es un carro compartido por toda la familia. This car is shared by the whole family. And you can see how shared talks about a car, talks about food, could talk about a lot of things, right? But now, if I make the leap to ir, wow, I can make a participle out of that. Ido, gone. How do I use gone to talk about a noun?
Girl, the gone girl.
Is this a little hard to use as an adjective? Because of the nature of what that verb means. I can turn it into ido.
Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah, I can turn it into ido. And I could use it in the other functions that ido might have. But to use it as an adjective in terms of context would be a little like, I gotta really think about that.
Yeah.
The children gone to the park, would we really say that? Probably not. So, okay. And cenar, to eat dinner. Cenado, that's the past participle. And in other functions, like we have had dinner. Oh, we've already had dinner. That's not an adjective. That's a compound verb. So to use cenado, dined, to use it to describe a thing is kind of tough. I mean, technically, somebody could think of a way to do it, but would it happen a lot to use this as an adjective? No. So the context of what the verb means will lend itself more easily to, I can make this an adjective, or, oh, it's going to fall more into the verb category, which we could look at next week. ¿Entienden? Understand?
Yeah.
So technically, any verb, every verb can be turned into these past participles. We're only going to talk about them tonight as adjectives, descriptive words, not actions. We're taking an action and turning it into a description. Okay? To tire your kids out so that, by God, they're going to take a nap. I'm going to tire those kids out. That's an action. But the kids are tired. Tired there is a description.
Tired.
And now the kids are tired. That's a description. It's an adjective. Not, I ran that dog 5 miles and I tired him out. That's something I did to him. but the dog is tired and man, he needs a nap. The dog is tired. That's how he feels. That's an adjective. Does everybody understand that? Sí, dime. Oh, you gotta unmute yourself.
Sorry. So could you also say the tired kids or tired kids are angry?
The tired kids. Tired tells me what kind of state they're in. It's an adjective.
Right. So, and that would be placed after hijos, right? Like,
Sí, exacto. Sí, sí, sí.
cansados.
Sí.
Okay.
And because, boy, that paints a picture in your head of how they look and how they're acting. It paints a definite picture.
Okay.
You would never say los cansados niños. No, no, no. Los niños cansados. Los niños cansados.
Okay.
The tired kid. Tired kids. Exacto. Exactly right. Okay. Buena pregunta. Good question. So we're looking only as these become descriptions, descriptions, descriptions. ¿Tienen más preguntas? Okay, sí, Patricia.
If you're using it with a verb, like you were saying, is it still called a past participle? Or is it called something else?
Well, it's a past participle used as an adjective.
No,
You
not
can
when
call
it's-
an adjective,
Not when it's used.
but
in the
it's
other-
definitely not a verb.
Okay. No, but I meant when you use it with a helping verb, is the item still called a past participle?
Yes, it's still called a past participle.
That's what I
It's
was-
always, yes, it is a past participle forever and ever, but it's a
Okay.
past participle used as an adjective, or it's used as a verb, or it's used as a passive voice. Those are the three biggies.
Okay. That's what I was just-
And that's where people get messed up.
Okay.
The two important ones to know are used as an adjective and used as a verb phrase.
Okay.
Using as passive voice for you guys is truly unimportant. So the two uses you want to know is use them as an adjective, because we do that a lot, and use it as a verb thing, which actually isn't hard to do. But, okay, bien. Buena pregunta. ¿Hay más preguntas? ¿Tienen más preguntas o no? No? Okay. We're going to take like little steps, because this does get kind of into that messy, nasty, shoot, I got to understand the grammar thing, kind of, sort of. Okay. Bien. You know, when you first learn to use estar, nobody tells you, by the way, we're going to use past participle now, because why? It's too complicated. You want to know how to say tired. You want to know how to say angry. You don't want to know the past participle of to anger. No. Qué inútil. How useless that would be for you. Okay. A ver. Vamos a ver. I'm going to share a little screen with you, and we're going to take a look at just how these are formed. Again. Aquí vamos. Here we go. And you know, wow, they tell you at the top overview, ado, ido, ito, to, that's irregular. So I think that's wrong. I can't think of one that is so. And cho, yes, that's true, but you'll see those later. Okay, let's look at the big picture. Here's the big picture. Ado, ido is the big picture. Ado for AR verbs. Ido for ER and IR verbs. ER and IR verbs share the same way to turn these into past participles. So, decidir becomes decidido. Decidido.
Decidido.
Decidido. Así. Equivocarse, to make a mistake. If we want to say mistaken, as in wrong, you want to tell somebody that's wrong, it becomes this word, equivocado.
Equivocado.
Equivocado, wrong, incorrect, mistaken, equivocado.
And decir changed meaning to determined, right? So you could say the determined cat you know?
Well, no, not that kind of determined. Determined as in, yeah, decided. Yeah, I don't know why they worded it that way, but decided.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But equivocado, wow, that's important. Well, oh, here's how they get so. Okay, yeah, impreso. There is a so. They're right.
Recluso.
There are two of these. The so thing is not very often, guys. We're not even going to focus on that.
Recluido.
There is one you might hear, impreso. Impreso does mean printed, but you're not going to hear that a lot. Oh, here's one that you hear a lot. This word conocido, conocido, conocido.
La marimba es el instrumento musical más conocido en Guatemala.
And he inserted an extra word. La marimba es el instrumento musical. He inserted musical. Más conocido. The best known. The most known. The one they're most familiar with. Conocer means to know as in to be familiar with. Conocido means known. Familiar. That's a very common oído kind of word. From conocer, conocido. Es muy conocido. Oh, really known. Kind of like saying famoso. Okay. Here's one of the irregulars.
Nuestros abuelos están muertos.
Dead. That's morir does not become morido. It's an irregular. It's a very common irregular because many times we need this word muerto, dead. Okay. Nuestros abuelos están muertos. Okay. Oh, here's a common one. Born.
No es un bebé recién nacido.
No es un bebé recién nacido. It's not a newborn baby. Recién nacido means recently born. Comes from nacer, to be born. Nacido. Okay. Herida, hurt, injured. This is a good word.
Necesito ver si está herida.
Necesito ver si está herida. Herida, injured, hurt. Herir is to hurt, to injure. You know, break the skin, not break a bone, but you get the picture. Damaged, hurt. Okay. Bien. Y por fin, una palabra muy común. Preocupado.
Estoy tan preocupado que ya no duermo.
I'm so worried that I cannot sleep. I've been that way for months. Okay. Estoy tan preocupado que ya no duermo. I'm so worried that I cannot sleep. And if I'm talking about myself, I cannot use it that way. So now we're going to step our toe. We're going to dip not the big toe, but the next little toe into the next bit of the pond. If I'm talking about myself, I have to say that as estoy tan preocupada que ya no duermo. If I'm talking about myself, because I'm a female, I have to say that estoy tan preocupada.
Why do you have the ya in there?
Ya, que ya no duermo, that I can no longer sleep. Ya no duermo, I can no longer, I can't do it now. The ya just means now, or really as ya no longer.
Isn't ya also mean already? Or
Ya has a few translations, right? Ya can mean already, it can mean now. Ya no is kind of like saying not anymore. Ya no. Ya no, not anymore or no longer. And you have to know that ya no kind of, ya no. Yeah, ya no, those two together, they form that idea of no longer or not anymore. Okay, so I want you to notice something. These ido words, because they're adjectives, will have to become, or will have to obey the rules that all adjectives obey. And that means the adjective, depending on who or what it's talking about, has to be masculine or feminine, singular or plural. Verbs are not masculine, feminine. But things and descriptions that describe things have to be masculine or feminine, singular or plural. So if I talk about myself saying preocupada, worried, because I'm using it to describe myself, it has to become a feminine form, preocupada. The one above that, necesito ver si está herida. Herida would be talking about a feminine person because it's herida. If I'm talking about a little boy, it would be herido. In the description above that, un bebé recién nacido. Bebé technically is a masculine. It could be una bebé. Then you would have to shift it, but you know. Bebé, you can't really tell from that ending, but we have un bebé, so you know we're talking about a male baby. Nacido. The description above that, nuestros abuelos están muertos. Muertos needs to be plural because abuelos is what it's talking about. Okay. You follow me so far with that?
Yeah.
See? Okay.
Sí.
Okay. Let's look at this word equivocado.
Equivocado.
This is a really common word because a lot of times when we travel, we do want to express that something is wrong, right? This amount is wrong. I am wrong. You are wrong. It's something is wrong. Equivocado is a really, really useful word. We have a word, equivocate. It's not really the same meaning, right? It has a very different connotation. But equivocado, perdón, estoy equivocada. Excuse me, I am wrong. Okay. Vale, para que sepan, just so you know. Okay. Es útil. So that one is useful. A ver, vamos a ver. We're going to take a little further dip in and see if you can do just the masculine form for these next ones. Don't worry about masculine, feminine yet. Just worry about the participle, the masculine onesie. Hablar becomes
Hablado.
Hablado.
hablado, comer,
Comido.
Comido.
comido, vivir,
Vivido.
vivido, bien. Ver, here's an irregular. It's not vido. And you'll see on a different page with it. This one is visto. Visto. Sadly, the irregulars for participles wind up being words that are super, super common. And I'll show you what a lot of those are. And you'll get the link for the page that will list these. But visto, because so many times we say something is seen. This is not, this is seen from the mountain. The church is seen if you stand up on the mountain. Okay. Dormir, regular. Dormido, bien. Okay. Escribir, irregular. Escrito, T-O ending. Okay, so we're going to pass that up. Next one is also irregular. Cubrir, cubierto. There are a bunch that end in T-O. Cubierto, covered. Bien. Okay, encontrar, regular. Encontrado. And the last two, sadly, are irregular, so I'm going to give you those. Morir is not morido, it's muerto. Freír is frito. Frito es fácil de recordar. Frito is really easy to remember because we have that snack that's brand named Fritos, yeah? Frito, fried. Frito means fried. Okay. Okay, so in English, the past participle will be fried, dead, found, not finded, but found, covered, written. We have lots of irregulars in English with these. They are weird in English, not righted, but written. Asleep, that's how we would say that one. Seen, not seed, but seen. Lived, eaten, spoken. Okay, a ver. All right, now we're going to dip our toe, and I'm going to write here. We're going to dip our toe because this one's an irregular. We're going to dip our toe into, let's change them into masculine and feminine forms. Aha. The windows are broken. Las ventanas están.
No, I don't know.
Roto.
Roto is the base form, but now I'm using roto to talk about ventanas.
Rotos.
Almost.
Rotas.
Not rotos, because ventanas is feminine. It does have to be plural.
Rotas.
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 Okay, aquí. And you can go back to this later. You're going to link to this later. You can plug it in and see if you got it right, because it'll give you feedback on answers. Las ventanas están rotas. Las ventanas están rotas. They are broken. The windows are not doing the action of breaking. The windows are not breaking. What would they break? They get broken, right? Yeah. So the windows are not doing the action of break something. They are in the state of being broken.
Isn't that the passive voice you were talking about?
This is almost the passive. No. Here's the very slight difference. The windows are broken. That's how they look. Jagged. Yeah? Okay.
But if you use the
windows,
past tense, then it would be passive.
there you go. The
Okay.
windows were broken by the teenagers. Yeah. In Spanish, you see that in writing a lot, but not used very much in conversation. We in English use passive voice in conversation a lot. Spanish does not use passive voice in conversation a lot. In writing, it does. Not in conversation so much. In a newspaper article, kind of a lot, but not talking back and forth with the neighbors. Okay? Bien. Okay. A ver. Pagar. Muy regular. Regular. The bill is paid. La cuenta está pagada. La cuenta está pagada. It's a paid bill, not an unpaid bill. Not a lost bill. Not an overdue bill. Está pagada. And notice sometimes, quite often, but not 100% of the time, often we pair up this past participle with a form of estar. Often. Because estar gives a description. It tells what state a thing is in. The bill, where would it be? In a ledger. It would be in the paid column, not in the owed column, right? Okay. El bebé está. The baby is snoozing. Is asleep. He is not sleeping. He is asleep. That's how we would say it in English. Okay, en español, dormido. El bebé está dormido. En la cuna. En la cuna, cuna is crib. Okay, a ver. Hey, is the door open? Uh-oh. Here's an irregular. And I'm going to give you the first part. Está
Abierta.
Abierta.
Abierta. Está abierta la puerta. Está abierta la puerta. You would never say está abierto la puerta. Puerta es femenina, es una palabra femenina. Está abierta la puerta. Está abierta. Here's another one of those words, abierta, that you learn a lot to use with estar. The store is open, the post office is open, the hotel is open. It's the state that building is in. Okay. And we're going to use escribir. Here comes an irregular. So I'm going to give you the first part, escrit. ¿Están los libros?
Escritos. Escritos.
Escritos. This is an irregular. It's not an ado ido. Están los libros escritos en español. Desgraciadamente, unfortunately, the irregulars for past participles are kind of hard to avoid because they wind up being very, very frequent words, frequently used words. Uh-oh, here comes a past participle, Susana. Past participle. This one is, passive voice. This is a passive voice, truly a passive voice. The building was built. The building didn't build anything. A building can't build something. It was acted upon by a group of people, and that means passive voice. Okay, so we're going to look at construir. Construido. Construir.
Construido.
El edificio fue construido por los romanos, and this is kind of a passive voice you would hear a lot. You know, a building was built by some group of people. Okay.
And you would. Yeah.
Sacar is to take something out. To take it out. La basura fue.
Sacada.
Oh. Sacada. La basura fue sacada. The trash was taken out por el niño. And this is a passive voice also. Okay, now we've got one. Uh-oh, here comes an irregular.
Rota.
La niña tiene una pierna.
Rota.
Rota.
We're talking about pierna.
Rota.
Rota. La niña tiene una pierna rota. Now, take a look at this. Tiene una pierna rota. She's got a broken leg. I don't see estar anywhere there because I don't need estar. Tiene una pierna rota. She has a broken leg. But up here, I've used it with estar. Está abierta la puerta. Is the door open? So I can use this participle with estar, or maybe I don't need estar. Like down here, in número 8, la niña tiene una pierna rota. And I'm just sticking that broken word right behind the noun, like I would stick pequeña or grande or any other word behind the noun. I wouldn't say the girl has a leg is broken. The girl has a broken leg. All I need is that word. I don't need estar there. Okay, and here comes an irregular. Las gatas están, and I'm going to give you the base part. Muertas, because they're all female kitties. Las gatas están muertas. Ah, the movie is closed. Well, there's a realistic example.
Yeah.
El cine está cerrado. El cine está cerrado. The movie theater is closed. The movie theater isn't doing the action of closing anything. It just is in a state of it. It's not open. It's closed. Okay. Here, I really needed to use it with estar, right? It's closed. It is in that state. Okay. But pierna rota, broken leg, I don't need estar. Vale. ¿Entienden? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes more sense when there's lots of examples to sort of put it together.
That helps.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bien.
that's a good
Okay.
teaching tool.
So what I hope to show you, and I'll send you the links for this page so that you can kind of fiddle with it yourself, you know. That's what that is about. I'm going to share one more page. I'll share this link, but unfortunately, this page, you would have to scroll way down. Whoop, perdón, un momentito. Boom. Let me stop share and get it back on. I got my screens bouncing around. Okay. Momentito. Uy. Okay, a ver. With this one, you would have to scroll all the way down to find this. So here's that basic rule. Ado, ido, right? But ado might become ada. It might become ados. It might become adas. Ido might need to become a feminine form, ida, or idos, or idas. I have to look at the noun, the thing or the person I'm describing, just like I do with las chicas jóvenes, just like that. Las chicas jóvenes, jóvenes is talking about chicas. I need to look at the word chicas to figure out what to do with joven. It becomes jóvenes, right? Young. Las chicas bonitas. I've got to look at chicas to figure out what to do with bonitas. This follows the exact same rule. I'm just using ado, ada, ados, adas. Ido, ida, idos, idas. And we're going to take a look at some examples again. El aire de la ciudad está contaminado. El aire. El aire está contaminado. It's contaminated. It's polluted. Okay. Los almuerzos comidos por los chicos son saludables. The lunches eaten by the children are healthy. You're maybe not as likely to use a sentence like that as a beginner, but that first one, something's polluted, you know, if it doesn't look so great, yeah, you might use that one. Ah, la torre está situada. La torre está situada. It's situated. It's located. Another word for located is ubicada. Ubicada means located. Está ubicada o está situada cerca de la frontera. Cerca de la frontera, near the border. But situada or ubicada, if you use located, situada looks at torre, tower. It's talking about the location of the tower, so it needs to use a feminine form for la torre. Ah, las luces están, o estaban, they use past here. Las luces estaban encendidas. The lights were turned on. Lights can either be on, off. On, off. Which state is it in? Encendidas, turned on. Okay? If Alejandro has a mechanical pencil, el lápiz de Alejandro está roto. It's a broken pen. Broken isn't describing Alejandro, it's describing el lápiz, pencil. Los ensayos escritos por Carlos Fuentes fueron excepcionales. The essays written by Carlos Fuentes, are you going to use that as a tourist? Probably not. Okay, here's the next one that might be used. La película vista por los jueces fue diferente. You know, maybe you go to a film festival and there are judges who watch the film, like Sundance or, you know, Cannes, someplace like that. Wow, if you can go to Cannes,
Go, go, go.
Ay, afortunados. You're lucky. La película vista, the movie seen por los jueces, by the judges. Okay, las mesas hechas en Mexico son muy bonitas. The tables made in Mexico. Maybe you're in a little furniture shop, right? Las mesas hechas en Mexico. And hecho is one of those irregulars. It's from hacer. Okay. Bien. Okay, ¿está bien? Vale, magnífico. Ok. A ver, para tarea, as homework, you know what? I might give this to you. There might be some you'll miss, but there'll be some you get. Unfortunately, it's very hard for me to find examples where they don't mix all the uses. But I think I'm going to give this to you just as a fun thing. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. It's going to be a little, homework thing. And again, I'm pretty sure, it'll check your answers. I'll give you the link for this. And don't worry about, is this a straight use with estar? Is it a passive voice? Don't worry about that stuff. Just worry about getting the right form, matching up the participle with the thing, the noun that it's talking about. It'll look like this. It's going to have a little rana, a little froggy up at the top. Okay. So I'll give you the link for it. You'll see a little froggy, and it's going to ask you to type this stuff in. And then when you get all the way to the bottom, I can say there are 15. You'll have a check answers. Game? Game? Okay. Vale. So that's what you're going to have para tarea, for homework. I'm going to play one more little thing to share with you. And this is a mini video built inside a very long, or is it long? No, it isn't. Wow, perdón. It's not so long, but we'll take a look at this. I don't think it's a very long video, so we'll watch this one.
If past participles were people, they'd score high on the extroversion scale. They hardly ever do anything alone. They are team players who love to modify adjectives or get together with helping verbs to form compound tenses. In this lesson, you'll be learning more about past participles, what they are, how to form them, and when to use them. The past participle is a verb form. However, unlike the verb tenses you have learned so far, the present, the preterite, and the imperfect, it cannot be used by itself to tell who did something or when they did it. Let's take the past participle broken as an example. You cannot say, I broken the window. However, you can use broken as an adjective and say, the window is broken. Or you can use broken along with the helping verb to have and say, I have broken the window. In Spanish, the past participle, el participio pasado, is very similar. Although it cannot be used as a standalone verb form, it can be used as an adjective or in compound tenses. In English, the past participle is usually formed by adding either ed or en to the infinitive. Walk plus ed, walked, eat plus en, eaten, etc. When they end in ed, past participles look just like the simple past. However, you can always tell them apart by how they are being used. If it is being used as a standalone verb, as in they improved this cereal, it is the simple past tense. If it is being used as an adjective, this cereal is new and improved. Or if it is being used with the helping verb to have, they have improved this cereal. It is the past participle. In Spanish, you form the past participle of regular verbs by adding either ado or ido to the stem of the verb. If it's an AR verb, you drop the AR ending and add ado. If it's an ER or IR verb, you drop the ending and add ido. For example, for the verb caminar, you drop off the AR ending, leaving you with camin. Then you add ado, giving you caminado. For the verb comer, you drop off the ER ending and then add ido, giving you...
Uh-oh. Okay, it only gives us part of that, but that gives you a little snippet, right? Jane? You got a little snippet of that. Okay. A ver. Bueno, ¿tienen preguntas? Any questions about that or no? No?
Study it.
No, okay. Vamos a ver. Let me show you. Voy a... ¿Los tengo? Sí, los tengo. Okay. A ver. Una cosita más. One more thing. Well, two more things. Here we go. Here is what happens in English. English has got a lot of weird things, right? We don't say speaked. we can say, you know what? We have so many weird ones in English. It's kind of sad. We can say worried, right? ED. We can say this. Well, yeah, improved. That was a great example in that little mini video. Improved, right? But I can't say speaked. I can't say seed. I can't say heard. They don't use ED. So we've got, in English, loads of these. Spoken, seen, heard, broken, understood, not understanded, understood. Made, not maked, made. Hey, this souvenir is maked in Japan. No, made in Japan, right? So we've got lots and lots and lots of irregulars. There aren't that many irregulars in Spanish, but the ones that are there are pretty commonly used words. So I'm going to give you the link to this. This is way down number 9 slide. These are the ones that don't do ado ido, not ado ido, because you'll probably see a few of these in the homework. So the ones that don't use ado ido are ver, to see. We don't say, well, to say seen, we need visto. Visto. Visto, vista, vistos, vistas. I'll give you all the forms. Romper, to break. Doesn't look, the participle doesn't look anything like romper except for the RO. Roto, rota. Rotos, rotas. Volver, to return, like to a place. Vuelto, vuelta. Vueltos, vueltas. Cubrir is cubierto. So covered, covered. Cubrir, cubierto. Cubierta, cubiertos, cubiertas. Cubrir puts a little prefix to become descubrir. Discover. So discovered is descubierto because it's built on cubierto. Descubierto, descubierta, descubiertos, descubiertas. Okay, we're going to go to the top of the middle column there. Hacer muy irregular. Hecho, made. Hecho, hecha. Hechos, hechas. Opened. Abierto, abierta. Abiertos, abiertas. Poner, put or placed. Something is placed in a, in a room someplace. Poner, the past participle doesn't look very much like poner. It's got the P and that's about it. Puesto, puesta. Puestos, puestas. Morir doesn't look that much. Well, the word dead is muerto. Muerto, muerta. Muertos, muertas. Decir, muy común. Here's a really common one. Dicho. Dicho doesn't look very much like decir except for that letter D. Dicho, dicha. Dichos, dichas. Y escribir. Escribir, escrito. Escrito, escrita, escritos, escritas. Now, these are not the only ones. There are more that are irregular, but these are the really super, super common ones. I'm picking the ones that people might hear most every day. So these are the ones that don't follow an ado ido form. Okay, bien. Eso es. There's the one that you need. Because they'll probably throw in the practice, they'll throw a few of those in that are the oddball ones because there are a lot of pretty common irregular past participles for Spanish. Okay. ¿Entienden perfectamente o tienen preguntas?
No
Una
pregunta.
pregunta.
Okay, bueno, Susana, dime.
Can you give me a sentence with dicho in it as a past participle?
Ah, bien, okay. No entendí, I did not understand. No entendí las palabras dichas en la película. No entendí las palabras dichas en la película. I did not understand the words said in the movie.
Words, okay, yeah. I think I have a hard time because I keep trying to put the adjective before the noun when I'm translating, and so the said word, I mean, but word said, okay.
Yeah.
Las frases dichas en español son difíciles de entender. The sentences said in Spanish are hard to understand. You know, if you were talking about something in a movie.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so, así es, so it is. Bien?
Sí.
Vale, okay, es mejor. Is that better? Because I know it was really confusing for a lot of people last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It is better.
Do you want to see next week how we pair it up to make it into an honest to God verb?
Sure.
It's not hard, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Well, that part's good.
It's actually easier than the adjective in a certain sense. We'll take a look at it, but it'll be something that will be useful, but it's not something that you have to absolutely memorize. But these are pretty important words because we use a lot of adjectives that are really nothing more than participles. It's a pretty frequent thing in Spanish. Bien, fantástico. Should we end it here, or do you want to look at the Michael Jordan article? You have any questions on that from last week? Sí, no, sí, no.
We could do that next week, maybe.
Yeah.
Perdón?
Yeah.
Sí.
Next week, maybe?
Next week?
Yeah.
El artículo, the article?
Sí.
Okay, vale, sí. Muy bien.
All right. Well,
Very good.
gracias.
Okay, I will send you all pertinent, I'll send you the little homework trial. I will send 1, 2, 3. 3, I think, my files, and the other 2 things from the internet. And that will be it. Eso es todo. ¿Bien?
Bien.
All right.
Magnífico. Nos vemos. Nos vemos el miércoles. We'll see you Wednesday. Next Wednesday will be our last one. We're going to take a week off, and then it will start up for honest to goodness summer session. And if some of you need to still sign up, it's still open. Can do that, no problem. I know it's going to run because we've got at least 8 people, so that's a-okay. Está bien. Entonces nos vemos el miércoles, ¿verdad?
Verdad,
Sí,
verdad.
Muy bien, ustedes son fantásticos. Nos vemos más tarde. Luego, ¿no?
Yes.
Sí.
Adiós, amigos.
Adiós.
Hasta luego.
Gracias.
Gracias.
De nada, por nada.
Sí.